So I'm not saying you're wrong. That's just something.
I have some proof that there was some possible malicious intent because the Ashley who is at the Filthy Pooch you can hear laughing at me as I'm being arrested, you know. And so obviously she had no, you know, she thought that everything that she was doing was legal and proper, and anything that she was doing was not. So again, I mean, how is it okay for somebody to call the police onto somebody for doing something that is legal, and then why is it okay that the police then follow through with that and you know, by coming up with things that they can then use against me to satisfy the person who is, you know,
well,
you know, again,
when it comes to trespassing, unfortunately, it's if the person wants someone trespassed, then we have to trespass them.
okay,
it's their private property.
I had made it brought up with the officer on the scene that it was questionable how and where I would be trespassed, and that was never ever satisfied. I still have not gotten anything from anybody that says here, you know, I stated on my original records request that I wanted a plot map showing, you know, with the boundaries drawn out where I would be trespassed from. So again, I mean, the open records request, you're supposed to fulfill them, and if not, you're supposed to have in writing why you weren't able to fulfill it, and then he did not provide that in writing. So I mean, are you willing to start a case for this or not? I mean, because what you're making it sound like is that.
No, I'm gonna take your statement,
okay.
And I was just trying to explain from an officer's point of view as to what could have.
I understand everything what you're saying, but it does not explain how the officer, before he talked to any of those people, was making claims of how he knew. Has he worked for Bryce Phelps? Has he, you know, been a property manager for Bryce Phelps, that he knows where the property boundaries of and what the leases of all these businesses say?
Right. Well, I mean, he can only operate from what he knows at the time of the incident.
Well,
and
again, I'm sorry, but there's no way he can know any of that stuff. So I mean, you know, again, unless he can show that, yeah, I work for Bryce Phelps, so I know what the leases are. And obviously he didn't, because he would have made those statements, because I have on record Bryce Phelps saying that no, nobody in the park has any rights to the parking lot.
So it's typically the responsibility of the person trespassing you to fulfill that. You know, if they're saying that you know is their property, then it's their responsibility to show where you're trespassing.
If you watch the video of him discussing it, there's not any. They're just like, well, I guess it's to here. I think it's to there. I mean, there's no, yes, he will be trespassed, you know, because I was saying, no, I need to have a line, because that's not fair to me that I come along and I step one step too far one way, and I don't know where that line is, and somebody could again call the cops on me because I'm trespassed. You know what I mean? No, I need to know exactly where that boundary is, because I'm not going to break the law. You know what I mean? That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not a law-breaking person.
Right. And to my understanding, you were not charged with trespassing, correct?
No, I was not charged with trespassing. I was charged with obstruction, which, again, in my understanding of the law, and this is another big part of this whole issue, is that, you know, why was I required to get my ID for a trespass?
So the level of that needs to be met in order to ID someone is reasonable suspicion. So he's there investigating whether or not the crime has occurred or not. So with reasonable suspicion, you either have to confirm or dispel that a crime has occurred.
Okay.
With that, under case law, you have the ability to ID someone if you are there to either confirm or dispel that a crime has occurred.
Okay. I understand.
So that's the level that has to be met in order to ID someone. Now, if there is no suspicion that any crime has occurred, then absolutely you do not have to identify.
So can you tell me what crime he was?
Well, he was investigating the trespassing.
No.
Now,
no, that's not.
That's why he was there, because they called, correct? And they
There was
were,
no investigation. He was not investigating anything.
but they were alleging that you were trespassing.
No.
Correct?
No.
Well,
No, I was
I
being
wasn't
told I was trespassed.
correct, which
So there's no
is,
crime. That's not a
so
crime.
when you are being trespassed, you do have to identify
Okay,
because
show
it has
me
to be put
this.
into.
Again, this is the problem, is that I have gone through your entire training manual for the, town hall, the policies and stuff. There's nothing in there about how police officers are supposed to handle a trespass. There's nothing in there. There's nothing about the system that you have that you put, any of that information in.
Do you mind if I answer real quick?
If you look at well, I would like to finish first. If you look at any of the laws regarding trespass, there's nothing in there that states that an officer may request an ID. There's nothing about what he deemed a proper trespass or an official trespass. There's nothing that I can find with using those terms in either your manual or the law. So if you can provide me with that, and as again, I've asked Nate King to provide me with such information and never got it. So if you're claiming such a thing exists, then I would love to see it.
You mind if I respond now?
Yes.
Okay. So when it comes to being trespassed, we have to identify you because we have to plug it into the system that you are now trespassed. We can't just put an unknown person, because obviously if we put unknown person, that could apply to anybody, correct? So we have to put who you are that's being trespassed. That way, if you were to show up to that business and go inside and we get out with you, we can verify that yes, he has been trespassed, or no, this is not the individual. Because say someone else was trespassed, but they give your name. And now we get there, we have to verify who they are. So we need to have an ID. Does that make sense? We have to plug in your name and your information in order to put you down as being trespassed. So
all that is may make sense to somebody at some point, but it doesn't answer what I stated, and the fact that there's not anywhere where all of what you just stated is actually on record anywhere for the public to know that is what is to be expected in that situation.
So trespassing is a crime.
Okay, but being told you are trespassed from someplace is not. That is a civil matter.
It has to be documented.
No, it doesn't.
And in order to have you trespassed, we have to have your ID.
Okay. It does not have to be documented by the police. You can have somebody trespass from anybody can trespass if they have the legal right to that property. You can trespass anybody from that property. And they don't have to tell the police about it.
Correct.
And for that to be
But if they are going to
enforceable.
Involve us, we have to identify you because we can't just put down unknown.
You have to identify me when I have committed trespassing, not when I have been told I am trespassed from a property. See, again, can you show me? There's a very big dividing line between the two. One is a civil matter. It's between two people saying, I don't want you here anymore. And if you do come back, then the law will be involved. Okay, that's being told you are trespassed. Okay, the one is trespassing, where you have been told that and you have violated that. And now the law can be involved because it's now a criminal matter.
Well, if you want to go ahead and make that statement, I'd be more than happy to take it from you. If you want to take extra papers with you and fill it out at your own time and then drop them off.
I mean, I need another case number, please, because again, I want to charge these people with these crimes.
Okay, so you want a completely separate case number?
I mean, why shouldn't it be? Why should my charges be tied with their charges? I mean, I'm charging them now, so this should be they're now the defendants. I'm now the plaintiff, right? In the other case, I'm the defendant and they're the plaintiff. So I mean, I think it should be a totally separate case. There should not be you can reference this case, but it should be, in my opinion anyway, unless you could tell me something different.
Yeah, we can do that. How many pages do you think you'll need for this one?
I mean, just one, because I probably am going to type this out. I'm not going to handwrite it, and I will just sign it.
We have
what I type out.
You should be able to find this on the Talcoa City website.
Yeah, so I mean, I can just, I don't need to take all your papers. I'm just going to take one.